On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the sultan that comes into power under the Young Turks first. Who is it, Reed? Alright, what happens to him? Can you tell me, Reed?
Don't they kill him because he tries to move the Turks out of? They try to
Does he turn on them or does he work with them? Turns on him. He goes into power for about a year and then he turns on them and then he tries kicking them out and then they turn on him. Yes.
Why is it the second? Where's the first? You never hear about King first.
I don't know. I have no idea about the Ottomans. The Ottomans have had a long history. When you become king or emperor, sultan, whatever, you get to pick your name. Same thing in England. Yeah, you get to pick your name.
Can I be like?
When you become a pope, you can also pick your name.
Grand Master of Ottomans or something.
I don't think Grand Master is a title, except outside the Ku Klux Klan. Don't they have Grand Masters in the Ku Klux?
Like
Grand Wizards. Where's Grand Master?
Chess.
Huh?
It's chess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, chess and Ku Klux
Way
Klan.
to
Like
associate that with chess.
Huh?
Way to associate that with chess.
I don't know why I thought that was, anyway. Grand Wizard, you're right. Because the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, how can you take something serious if it's called a wizard? You know what I mean? And it motivates people, to murder. And it's a damn wizard telling you to do it. With a sheet on his head. Anyway, that's a whole other story. Here we go. Alright, on your whiteboard, please tell me they're going to replace Abdul Hamid II with who? Because he is not cooperating. And this will also be your last sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Oh my god, it's just gravity too hard today, Aiden. Is that what that face was for? You're like, ugh, writing it out? You're right back there?
I don't feel very good
Oh
now.
no, that's not good. You got a cold or what?
I don't know.
The flu's
man.
going around.
It is going. If it's dead, throw it away. Yes, please. Jack, who is it?
Mehmed Rashid.
There you go. Mehmed B. I don't know if it's a 5. I have no idea. On your whiteboard, please tell me what type of government did the Young Turks want? Good. Good. What is it? What is it? Cheyenne.
Constitutional monarchy.
There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what conflict is going to push Russia to deal with the fact it's completely inadequate because it's embarrassing. What conflict is going to force Russia to have to deal with itself because it's embarrassing? Good. What is it, Micah? Crimean War. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who's going to free the serfs? You are struggling back there, Aiden. You really are. It's like your brain not working today?
Yeah, I know the answer, just
Just a physical movement of it is just overwhelming? Oh my god. At least I'm glad you still know the answers, at least. Who is it, Maya?
Alexander II.
Alexander II. Who can explain the pros and cons of releasing the serfs? With a hand. Who can explain? Dean.
Pros, they're free. Cons, they don't have any place to work, they don't have any food, and they don't have any skills, and they don't have any money.
So is it a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's not good.
It's not good. Is it going to hurt all of Russia?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no one farming. If you're not farming, you don't get food. And if you don't have food, people die. So it's going to cause a huge amount of problems. All right, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the first step of Russia's industrialization? Good. No, it's a system. What is it, Cheyenne?
The WIT system.
WIT system. What is the crowning accomplishment of the WIT system? It also should be on your bucket list. If you get bored, honestly, you should Google this. It's awesome. What is it? Adrian? Trans-Siberian Railroad. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the man who will come into power after Alexander II gets executed by his own people because, frankly, industrialization is awful. Who is it? Lily? Nicholas II. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Just kidding. Did we make it to Opium War?
Yeah,
Yeah, we got.
King Rebellion. Just
Oh, hell yes! I knew I liked you guys best. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, where is the opium the British are getting coming from? Jack.
Indian.
India. On your whiteboard, please tell me, Indian opium is going where in major amounts, which will make that government get really pissed. Good. Micah. China. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the date of the Opium Wars? Nice. Now, we got a lot of different things here. Good. Who is it, Sophia?
1839 to 1842.
1839 to 1842. Why is the Opium War? What is the direct outcome of the Opium War? Good. Now, there's a bigger piece to it. What am I looking for, Molly? Unequal treaties. These unequal treaties are going to create what in China by European countries? What in China is going to be created? It's a term. It's 3 words. Good. I got 1. I got 2. Oh, look who joined us on this one. Hey, Aiden. Aiden, what is it?
Sphere of influence.
Spheres of influence. Who can raise your hand and tell me what is the difference between a sphere of influence and a colony? No one knows. No one listened to me during my map. Adrian.
They don't have full control over the area, they just control the economic part of it.
There you go. Okay, now India, is it a sphere of influence or a colony? Colony, so they control social, political, economic, social, all that stuff, yeah? And China, their sphere of influences. They only care about the economic component. They don't care about they don't really care about politics unless it's dealing with economics. On your whiteboard, please tell me. I'm good. All right, let's go. So we got to Taiping Rebellion.
Like, didn't actually talk about it.
Nice. This is so exciting. Good.
Last thing to say was the people in pets.
The people. All right. By the way, the people in China are pissed. Okay, they're losing all their power. All their money is leaving China in a major way. Their banks are emptying out based on the Opium Wars. Then the Opium Wars are obviously going to create unfair treaties where British citizens can do whatever the hell they want. Other countries are going to come in and set up spheres of influence with China. France, Germany are going to be your 2 biggest ones. They're going to come in. When you are a European in China, you can kill 7 people in the street and there's no conflict. There's no issue. They're like, man, don't worry, we'll pick up the bodies. As they drag them across the street. There's no consequences. They are not paying taxes. They don't actually really pay for anything. They just take what they want. So as a citizen of China, how would you feel about this? Now keep in mind, only within the last 100 years has your station been less than European. Remember, for all of AP world, China has been like the dominant power, correct? Everyone's going to China. Everyone wants China to be their friend because they need their resources. Now China is at the mercy of Europeans. Okay, so Europeans are going to abuse their power, and because of this abuse, the people start revolting. And this is your Taiping Rebellion. Your Taiping Rebellion is going to go from 1850 to 1864. It's 14 years of conflict. It's going to be one of the largest rebellions in the world. And it's mostly going to be because the Chinese have no money. It's mostly going to be done by the peasants. You have to understand that in China, they aren't really expanding their farming lands, but their population is growing. So they have the same amount of food being grown, but a lot more people eating at it. So that means what for all people? Strange resources, less food. If there's less food, people are hungry, and of course, who is suffering the most? The poor people, the lower class, absolutely. Your peasants are the ones suffering the most. So if you can't feed your family, are you going to revolt? Yes, absolutely. So that's what we're going to see here, is that they're going to revolt. The first part of it is going to be non-rebellion, and it's going to be a Muslim rebellion. This is going to inspire the movement. It's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. The Taiping Rebellion is going to be inspired by the Nan. Just know that it's inspired. The big part is Hong X. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher it, but I naturally inherently will. He is a school teacher. He is going to be educated in a lot of the Western stuff. When I say Western stuff, I'm talking about democracy, all of your Enlightenment ideas. Montesquieu, who's a big fan of Voltaire. Everyone loves John Locke. So he sees all of this stuff, and he is excited, and he thinks that's what China needs. He wants the destruction of the Qing Empire, a dynasty. Now the Qing come in after the Ming in period 4. They are going to continue to rule into period 5. Don't worry, they're not going to make it to see 1911. So they're going to die off just before the end of period 5. Period 6, I mean. So they're here still. All right, so Taiping Rebellion led by Hong X, his school teacher. Now, the Taiping platform. So what do they want? What they want is the abolition of private property. Now, think back. What dynasty is the first dynasty to eradicate property? What dynasty? Your AP exam's coming, people. Han, very nice. Does it work out well or terribly for him, Maya?
For the peasants and for the
I would say for the whole dynasty. Does it work out well or terribly? Terribly. Even for the peasants, it doesn't even work out well because it's not even distributed properly. Okay? So, during period 2, we have the Han. They're going to try doing it. He believes they should. Now, remember how I told you that there's not more food being grown even though there's more people? The reason why more food isn't being grown is because a lot of the wealthy own the arable land, and they don't need to farm it, so guess what they're not going to do? Farm it. So because of that, it's just sitting there with like grass on it. Can you really eat grass? No. Huh? Cows can, yes, but there's not a lot of cows in China. I don't know if you noticed. I don't eat a lot of beef over there. Anyway, with that being said, if the poor, if there's no land ownership, guess what's going to happen with all that unfarmed land? Hello? What are they going to do? They're going to farm it, and if you have more food, guess what? Less people are starving to death. Okay, free public education, simplification of writing, and mass literacy. All of these are Enlightenment ideas, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he wants. He also wants to get rid of foot binding and concubines. Foot binding comes from what dynasty? Tang? No. Tang starts it. Who really embraces it? The Song. The Tang started the Song and are like obsessed with it. So that's going to be a thing. These are foundations of Chinese society. Would you agree? Okay, they are huge parts of Chinese society, and he wants to prohibit it. He also doesn't want his followers to have sexual relations, like even married. But the leaders get to have harems, which are filled with concubines. So does this seem like a conflicting platform? Yeah, it is. So for some reason, AP wants you to know that. I don't know how that makes you better, but did you know that he didn't want you to have sex? So that's good. All right. So Taiping defeat. Now, there's a couple big things you need to know about the Taiping. They're going to conquer the city in Nanjing, which is a big deal because it's a major port city. Okay? They're going to conquer it, and they're going to hold it. In 1858, they're going to hold it for about 6 years. They're going to make it into the capital of this Taiping Rebellion. They're also going to have about 1 million people charge Beijing. That's really impressive. Can we agree? They estimated that on Saturday of last week, 1 million people protested around the country. So if we organize all of those women and men around the country and force them to go to one city, that would be how many people are rebelling against the Taiping Rebellion. Think about it. Is that a lot of damn people? Yes. They fail. They fail. And the reason why they fail is who is this whole little 1 million people march? Who are they? Dean.
Addicts.
They're what?
Addicts.
No, they're not really addicts. Those are more in your major. They're peasants. They're used to farming. And so going against the government's military, how do you think that feels? Terrifying or, just another day in the fields? Do you think you could march into a military situation right now, if we were passionate about a cause, would you be able to charge and give your life for that with no training? No, I wouldn't. No, if World War III broke out right now, I would not be able to serve on the front lines. There's a lot of women who can, and hell yes, kill them. Go for it. Do you, girl? I am not one of them. I would find a hole and I would cry. And then eventually, hopefully, someone would either take me to my side or take me to prison. That's how it's going to go. I wouldn't be killing anyone. And I also don't think I would do well in the military hospital. I don't do well with blood. I think I'd be more of an intelligence. You know what I mean? I think I could send some memos, some emails, try to roll some cotton. I could do that, but not military. It's the same thing with these million people. Is they're not trained, they're not organized. So when everyone shows up in Beijing and they start shooting, everyone's like, oh my God, my oven's on at home. And they all leave, so that's why they're going to lose. Okay? So, but it is impressive that they capture a major city and they have 1 million people who are willing to march into battle. Can we agree? Most of them are willing before the battle takes place, but they are going to have it. So the Imperial Army is unable to control them, so they're going to get Manchu soldiers. Remember, the Qing is made up of Manchus, so they're going to get more Manchus, and they're going to give them European weaponry. When we say European weaponry, what are we really talking about? What are we talking about when we say European weaponry? Aiden? Guns, absolutely. Do you think our peasants from China have guns? No, so they're running into bullets. Also, the Gatling gun, which is pretty boss. Have you ever heard of the Gatling gun? It's like your first machine gun. It's this massive gasket that has 10 or 12 barrels of a gun, and then all the person does is just has to crank it, and it just fires through all these rounds. It's crazy. That's why the North won. We had Gatling guns. The South didn't. So they would just run at us and we would do it. Have you ever seen The Last Samurai? They have a Gatling gun at the end. Not to ruin that one. It was a real thing. But yeah, it's really cool. It is really cool. There's a place in Vegas that you can go and you can shoot a Gatling gun. And it's really cool. That's what McCray wants. We're going to Vegas. Yeah. Because my husband and my best friend planned it. And that's what I get to pick something we're doing for the day. My best friend picks a day, and then my husband gets to pick a day. And on McCray's day, we're either going to go play with construction trucks. You can drive a dump truck. And the little claw thing, whatever it is. Or we're going to go shoot weapons. Which I've never shot a gun before, so I'm hoping we're doing construction. I think it would be fun, don't you think? You'd like a real backhoe, you could just start digging a hole. You don't think that'd be cool?
We had one of those in the backyard. My mom had a field day with it.
Oh my God, I think it would be so fun. No?
What are you doing on your day?
Brittany. So, they're going to shoot down all these peasants. There's no way. They're just going to shoot them down. So what happens is Hong is going to commit suicide in 1864. The Taiping Rebellion is over. They're going to kill 100,000 of the Taipings. That makes a lot of sense, don't you think? 1 million people fought. They're going to lose a ton of people outside Beijing, obviously. And then they're just going to massacre about 100,000 of them. And that's the Taiping Rebellion. Okay? So I have a little shorthand list of the big things you need to know. Taiping, Hong X is your leader. He's pro-enlightenment. He really wants to change the foundation of Chinese society. The success, he has 1 million followers. He conquers the city of Nanjiang or whatever it is. And he's defeated in 1864. He commits suicide and the whole cause is dismembered. Okay? All right. Self-strengthening movement. Please listen very carefully before we get too far along. Okay? The Taiping Rebellion is peasants and a school teacher. We should do our own Taiping Rebellion. I'm just saying. Just kidding. The self-strengthening movement is a government movement by the Qing. The Empress, which is pretty boss, is going to be leading a change throughout the government of China. Does that make sense? Okay? So, when we talk about the Taiping Rebellion, that is outsiders, peasants, normal people like you and I, overthrowing the government and pissed off about Europeans. Does that make sense? The self-strengthening movement is going to be led by the Qing government to try to fix China. Do we see the difference? It is very important that you understand that. That the self-strengthening movement is the leadership of China, the emperor to a degree, empress to a lot of degree, and are going to try to change it. So what it is, the high point is the 1860s, the 1870s. It's going to be a little overlap of your Taiping Rebellion. The slogan is Chinese learning at the base, Western learning for use. What does that mean? What does that mean, Maya?
They want to like keep their Chinese culture, but like use European technology.
There you go. Does that sound familiar today? This is what China today is doing. They have kept this. They have kept it. Okay? If you grew up in China, or if you go to China now for school, you're going to learn about Confucianism, Neo-Confucianism, and all that stuff, all the classical Chinese culture and arts, on top of learning math, science, and English. If you go to China, apparently in China, I've never been, but one of McCrae's colleagues goes to China a lot for business. She lives over there for like 8 or 9 months a year, and her husband, she's Chinese. Her husband is white. When he's on like the subway or whatever they call it in China, people go up to him and say hello and just have conversations in English. Because he speaks fluent Chinese and he speaks fluent English, but they like practicing their English. And he says little kids do it all the time. They come up and they ask about like sports and stuff. Even though he's like, I'm pretty sure they don't know who the Yankees are, they always ask about the Yankees and all that stuff, just so they can practice their English. It's a huge drive for Chinese people to learn English, because English is the official language of business for the whole world, and so they really push it. How many people do you think in the United States know Chinese?
I took a
Ah.
semester.
Huh?
I took a semester of Chinese.
Oh my God.
I'm like 3 grades.
I think Mandarin is like a big business.
It is. English is the first. Mandarin is growing. It used to be like number 4 or 5. I think it's up to 2 or 3 now. So if you are thinking about business, learning Mandarin would be a great way to help yourself. So anyway, so that's going to be something that's going to stay forever with China. It's 1950s. They're going to re-implement it with the Chinese Revolution, and here today, China is using dual classical Chinese and modern. They blend cultural traditions and European industrial technology. They are trying to industrialize. However, are they going to be that successful at it? No, they are going to be able to do a little bit of basic infrastructure. They are going to build some railroads, as we know from our map. They are going to add a couple more universities in order to push a little more Western education, specifically math and science. But they aren't going to be able to do that much. They changed Chinese economy and society to make it a little more superficial. And the Empress Dowager, she is the one you need to know. Empress Dowager, 60, I don't know how to say it. She's a big deal. You definitely need to know her name. AP loves her because it's a woman. But she's also kind of amazing. She doesn't give a about anything, and she's going to do whatever she wants to do that she thinks right for China. Okay? You need to understand that she is going to literally empty out her own personal savings account in order to help the Chinese people. She really wants to help the Chinese. You need to understand, she, the Empress, really wants to help Chinese people overall by improving and being able to compete with Europeans. Is that clear? Because I'm going to make it more confusing here in a second. Alright, so I'm going to skip right to this. So, they call it the 100 Days Reform. This is going to be in 1898. Kang, Zhuge, these people are going to be throwing down a ton of things that we need to change during our self-strengthening movement. They're going to say Confucianism justifies these major things. They're going to be incredibly pro-industrialization. Emperor Ji is the husband of the empress. They're not husband and wife. They're tied together. Aiden?
It said in the book that she was his aunt.
They're tied on their. He has more power because he's a man, but she's like number 2 in command. Does that make sense? Hello? They're like right there. They share the throne to a degree, but he's a man, so he usually gets more power. Well, he is the one running all these 100-day reforms, and he wants to help save China, but he's also very greedy and very selfish. So what she does, she arrests him. She holds him hostage. So he can't make any decisions. And then she takes over and starts running the ship, which is pretty boss. Can we agree? He wants to help a little bit of China, but he's also very greedy, and he's also benefiting a lot from European investors. Do you think leaders from England, France, Germany are going to talk to a chick? No, they're going to talk to the emperor. So the emperor is getting all these backhanded deals, all these other things. The empress finds out, and she's like, and we're done with that. So she has him arrested and imprisoned inside one of his palaces. Okay? So, with that being said, she's in complete control. Now, as in she has complete control over Chinese government. Remember, the Europeans are at least this point going to have a ton of power. Can we agree? So when I say she's in complete control, she's in complete control of what she can as a Chinese leader. Once she is in full power, she decides she wants to support the Society of the Righteous and the Harmonious Fist, also known as the Boxers. They walk around like this, and the Europeans called them the Boxers because it looks like boxing. That was like their big symbol, and boxing was becoming super popular in Europe. So they called them the Boxers' Rebellion. In 1899, you do need to know this, the Boxers are going to officially kick off their new rebellion, and they're just going to go killing all white people. Okay? You have to understand that they have seen these Europeans come in, take over their country, have poisoned their people with opium, have emptied out all of their banks of gold and silver. They are literally depleting China of all of its resources to no benefit of China, and they have taken over a large amount of controls of government. If you were Chinese, would you hate Europeans too?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So they go around killing any white person they saw. Now, if you're a European and you see a bunch of Chinese killing a bunch of white people, would you be concerned? Yeah, you would. So what's going to happen is all of the European countries are like, oh my god, they're going to kill us. And they're like, oh my god, this is so scary. Let's work together. And that's what they do. Okay, they're going to work together by a coalition of European forces. England, France, Germany are going to do what they can to suppress it. The biggest reason why the Boxer Rebellion was able to be suppressed as quickly as it was because someone told the Boxers that bullets won't hurt you. Someone told the Boxers that European weapons wouldn't hurt them, specifically guns. You're going to hear this again next week in Africa, where someone convinced them. They do this spell on the Africans who are rebelling, and I can't think of who they are at the moment, that they won't be hurt by the bullets. Zulu is sounding familiar. I have to preview it tomorrow. Is what I usually do. But yeah, so they're gonna run into these bullets. Guess what's gonna happen to them when you run into bullets, ladies and gentlemen? You die. You die, and that's exactly what's gonna happen. After this, after the Boxer Rebellion, all these European powers are like, okay, and we're done with this. So they're just gonna put their military inside China. So in these spheres of influence, which were just political, were just economic spheres, now they have their military there as well. So imagine if the United States were divided up between foreign countries, and inside these little territories, like Massachusetts now belongs to France, all throughout Massachusetts, which is a U.S. state, there would be French military. Does that seem like an issue if you are China? Yeah, absolutely. And you're constantly being threatened, and you're on. All right, to the board. right, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the first major rebellion by the Chinese? What is the first major rebellion by the Chinese? Oh, that one, it's not a major, but you're not wrong, Maya. What is the first major rebellion, Micah? The Taiping Rebellion. The Taiping Rebellion is going to be led by what person? Good. Who is it, Isabella? There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is his profession? Could I inspire you guys to take up arms? I would never do that, by the way. I would never. I was just asking. And I regretted it the moment I said it. So, never mind. Reed. He's a teacher. On your whiteboard, out of the two rebellions that we've talked about, which one is more pro-Europe? Which one is more pro-Europe? Good. Dean, what is it? Taiping. On your whiteboard, what is the movement led by the Qing? What movement is led by the Qing? Good. Alexandra.
Self-strengthening.
Self-strengthening. On your whiteboard, who is the enemy of the Taiping Rebellion? Who is the enemy of the Taiping Rebellion? Good. Who is it, Jack? The Qing, also known as what?
The
Manchu. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who is really going to be leading the self-strengthening movement? She's also going to lead her aid to another rebellion. Good. Who is it? Vanessa. Yeah, sounds good. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what year does the Boxer Rebellion start killing all the Europeans? No. 1900 is really when they start killing Europeans. That's like their big thing. I guess, no, 1980, 1899, I'll take. All right, we good? Hello? Yes? Okay. So, Boxer Rebellion. So, it is important to know that the Empress is going to be killed. The Emperor is going to die first. He's going to have a mysterious sudden death. Now, he's been in prison for a couple years at this point. Is everyone really surprised that he dies? However, it is important to know that the Empress also dies mysteriously a couple days. There's a lot of rumors of why. They believe that the Europeans paid one of their internal palace people to kill them both. So, that's what I think. Anyway, they're going to put, I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to say poopy. Poo-yee, I don't know. A 2-year-old on the throne. I don't know about you. At 2 years old, all I cared about was streets. I don't know if I could run a very complex political economic situation for an entire country. So, is this going to go well?
Yes.
It does not really go well. Obviously, of course, he's going to have grown-ups making decisions on his behalf. However, because there is no real leadership on the throne, people don't have loyalty to the throne, and that's happened in every country where you've had a stand-in. There's going to be a revolution in 1911. It's going to be complete chaos until the Chinese revolution again in the 1950s. He abdicates in 1912, so he's now 6 years old. He's going to live until the 1970s. Yeah, they don't kill him. He escapes China. And he, lives his life as the last dynastic leader of China. And he, lived a pretty fabulous life. Pretty cool. So, but we'll get to that when we get to period studies. Alright. There's your dowager. So, self-strengthening movement is over. Can we agree? It officially dies out. Alright. So, I do want to talk about spheres of influence real quick. Spheres of influence is what China is divided into. All European countries have their own sphere. Remember that map, how annoying it was? Yes? Okay. The Qing are going to lose control to the European powers. All right, let's talk about Japan. Okay, so during period 4, we have a group of people ruling Japan. And who are these people ruling Japan? Isabella?
The Tokugawa Shogunate.
Tokugawa Shogunate. And who do the Tokugawa Shogunate fear, Isabella?
The Dutch.
No, they don't fear the Dutch. They love the Dutch.
Oh, the Europeans.
The Europeans. They love the Dutch. They hate everyone else. Okay? So the Tokugawa are going to be in power in Europe. And what type of government structure do the Tokugawa have? Aiden.
Bakufu?
The what?
Bakufu?
Yes, they're going to have a little bit of that, but what is that? Simplify it for me. For a simple person like myself. What does it look like?
Kind of, it's a bunch of regional rulers and daimyo who have to report to the
Okay, but what does it look like?
monarchy.
No, it doesn't look like. It looks like feudalism, correct? You have a regional lord supervising. It's Japanese feudalism is what it is. So they're going to have that whole thing going. Now, the local daimyo are the ones actually in charge, and then you have an emperor on top supervising all the daimyo. Okay? Now, the Tokugawa is struggling with money. They can't afford anything. They can't do anything because they've literally stopped trading with everyone, and they're completely isolated. Remember, they closed their doors? Hello? And they're only trading with the Dutch. They're depending entirely on the Dutch. Now, when the Japanese were closing their doors, were the Dutch powerful? Yes. Are the Dutch powerful now in period 5? No. Are they powerful now? No, they're not. Anyway, so they are going to try to rein in some power. They are going to cancel the daimyo, and they are going to cancel the samurai. So all the daimyos, do they have any power? No, but they've been in power for about 500 years. Is that going to be a huge change? Samurai. We think samurai are really cool. Can we agree? But the Tokugawa see them as a threat, so they say no more samurai. They no longer have a position of authority or importance here in Japan. Is that a big issue? Yes, that's the cultural foundation of Japan. They're going to push people to go back to rice. And all of these things are pretty much a failure because people respect the daimyos more than they do the emperor. Does that make sense? You respect your local leaders more than you do your federal leaders, except today. What is the big difference between now and then? Why did most people respect their lords more than they did their king? Back in European feudalism, Japanese feudalism, why, Dean?
It's like today, we can, like television and radio, so we can
Yeah.
see
I mean, there's no way yesterday you didn't hear what Donald Trump did. Whether you support it or not, there's no way. Can we agree? Whether you said something on your social media or 7,000 people commented about it yesterday, whether in support or against. True or not true? Then you turn on the TV, and there it was again. And then you listen to the radio, and someone made a comment on the radio. Like, you can't escape it. Can we agree? Back then, can you escape it? Yeah, absolutely. The only person you had to answer to. Huh? He's been busy. He was very busy. He's been very busy. He officially restarted the Keystone Dakota Pipeline. You know how they had the natives out there protesting and they won? It's happening again. Yeah. So all those people, all that long. But it's happening again. Yesterday he told all of the you couldn't talk about climate change anymore. Did you see about the Badlands? Did you see the national parks? Everyone who works for the Department of Energy or Department of something else, they're not allowed to use social media to talk about climate change, and they had to delete things off their pages. And it was sent out in a memo yesterday morning. Well, the Badlands, which I'm now following on Twitter because it was just awesome. The Badlands National Park in North Dakota literally just spent like 5 hours posting climate change facts, like in opposition, and they just posted a ton of stuff. However, last night, late, around like 9 o'clock, they reversed it. They said, oh, you can say whatever you want, because there was such a backlash about it. He met with auto industry yesterday. He is declaring he's building a wall today and how he's going to do it. So that's happening today.
That's what I was talking
That's
Yeah.
such a waste of money.
Yeah.
Like, we could use that money to
The
help
people
national
who
needs.
voted for him and the people who want him, I mean, you can't, I don't think there's anything wrong with securing our borders.
But, like, we could use the money, because, like, the people who voted for him are saying, like, oh, Obama got us into all this debt. So, and then
It's a
instead of,
very
like, using the
complicated
money-
issue. It's a very complicated issue. So we're going to see how it works. We're going to see how it goes. But you can't escape it. Back then, you could escape it. And that's what made it hard. All right, so Japan, remember, Japan has closed its doors in period 4. Period 5 is where we now find ourselves. And are Europeans becoming more brazen now? Oh, yeah. Europeans and Americans are going to try to establish relations with Japan because Japan has a ton of resources. The U.S. really, really, really want a relationship with Japan. Because does the U.S. want to step on Chinese soil? No, because all the other Europeans are there and we like to do things different. So what happens is that the U.S. want land and we want territory in Japan. Not that we want to conquer it, but we need a place to send our ships. So at this point, the Japanese are only allowing the Dutch in. So naturally, the United States sends a guy named Commodore Matthew Perry with one of our massive gunships. He shows up to the port of Tokyo and holds Tokyo hostage. They literally start bombing. They shoot off like 5 rounds, and they say, if you don't open your port to us, we will continue bombing. And we have more ships on the way. Sounds like diplomacy in action. So guess what the Japanese do? They open up. Now keep in mind, this is going to be a metal ship. The Japanese don't have metal ships. Okay? Oh no, 1853. Nope, it's a little early. No, they are going to have cannon fire on the ships. They're also going to have a lot more technology. And it's not until after 65 that we have our first naval ship. And it'll go straight to Tokyo. They're going to force open the doors of the Japanese ports. Once they're in, they start showing the Japanese all the things they have. What is Japan definitely not at this point? They're definitely not industrialized. So when the U.S. shows up into their port and they're just pulling stuff off their ship in massive quantities, machine-made goods that they've never seen before, what do you think Japan is thinking?
We should get off.
Holy crap, look at this. And who the hell are these people? Because remember, when they closed the port, the United States was not around. It wasn't a thing. Now, this country that went to this new world that the Japanese heard about, but they didn't really know that much about because the Dutch aren't going, now is holding them hostage. They are like shaken to the core. They're like, what have we done? So, all of a sudden, all of the Japanese are going to react against the shoguns. What have you done to us? You've set us back. Look at the world. The world is advanced and we have not. So what we're going to have is that we are going to have an overthrow of the Tokugawa. The Tokugawa, who are in period 4, who shut the borders of Japan in order to protect Japan. Now in period 5, they see that has really hurt Japan. So they overthrow the Tokugawa shogunate and they replace it with the Meiji Restoration. So the Tokugawa shogunate fall and the Meiji Restoration takes over. And the Meiji Restoration is going to put Emperor Mutsushito in power. Now he is like 17 at this point. He's like a young kid, like a really young kid. However, in 1868, when he comes up, he wants immediately to industrialize. We have to industrialize. He becomes obsessed with it. Now, at this point, does the United States have a firm hold in Japan? Yes. Okay? So, guess what happens? Who helps Japan industrialize? Us. Guess who helps Japan improve their military? Guess who gives them the technology to build their own factories? Us. In less than 100 years, guess who they'll be fighting? Us in World War II. It's so exciting. Huh? What? When the British helped us and then we turned and fight them? Absolutely. But it was like a civil war. This is like a world war, man. Come on. See ya. There you go. That's really the big stuff you need to know for tomorrow. All right. Have a good day, guys. See you tomorrow.